So the last part that I'm going to talk about is what you do after you've submitted the FAFSA. So you've submitted the FAFSA, and I'm going to show you what it'll look like after it's been processed. So it'll say current application status, in process as soon as you submit it, and then a couple of days later, it'll be processed successfully. You can view your student aid report, and it's a little anticlimactic because a lot of students believe that it is going to tell you exactly how much financial aid you're going to get. And unfortunately, that comes a little bit later, but I'll show you what can tell you actually how much financial aid you're likely to get. So this is my student aid report from last year. I actually did submit a FAFSA to get a fee waiver for the GRE. You can see it has, when they got my FAFSA. It shows everything that I put on the FAFSA. What you actually need to pay attention to is this little tiny number next to EFC. So EFC stands for Expected Family Contribution. And this is the amount that FAFSA came up with based on what you just filled in that your family can pay for college. So because I do not make very much money, and on this FAFSA that I actually filled out last year, I didn't report any family income, my expected family contribution was 0, which means that FAFSA looked at my income and they said, this girl cannot afford to pay anything for college. So my EFC is 0 and yours might be as well. That doesn't mean that you're going to get full financial aid, but it does mean that you're going to qualify for a federal Pell Grant, which is free money from the federal government of up to $6,000. You can use your EFC to determine how much financial aid you're likely to get at other colleges through using something called a financial aid calculator that I'm going to show you now. So I attended Duke University, so I'm going to show you that example, and I'm going to show you one for CCCC. So the way that I always find it is literally by searching for Duke University Financial Aid Calculator. All colleges are required to have this on their website somewhere, but it can be hard to find, so I just find it by Googling. So I'm going to use the more in-depth estimate net price calculator. Miss Francis, 12th grade counselor. Okay. Most of you guys were born in 2003, so that's what I'm going to put. And you can see it's asking me basically just whatever I put on the FAFSA, but simplified. So I'm just putting exactly what I put on the FAFSA just now. If you're looking at this, you can see the wording is pretty similar but not identical to what you put on the FAFSA. You should be able to remember the answers based on what you just put. This you can give an estimate. This is a more in-depth one than some other ones, and that's because Duke offers pretty good financial aid. Okay, so here's what it's telling me, and this is going to look pretty similar for most colleges, but it might look a little bit different. So the most important thing is net price. So that's the amount my family is actually going to be expected to pay. I actually think Duke's estimate is a little bit high for what I put, but your mileage may vary. So first, this estimated cost of attendance section is how much the actual full cost if you didn't get any financial aid would be. So you can see tuition is insanely high, room and board is insanely high. Duke is a very expensive college, so the total amount is over $78,000. But you can see that if your family is low income, like what I put, you're going to get a ton of financial aid. So you're going to get the full federal Pell Grant, and that's money from the federal government that you're getting regardless of what college you go to. But then Duke is giving you $67,000. So they are giving you the full cost, and you're actually not going to have to pay any tuition, but you might have some extra expenses outside of your tuition which they're estimating to be around $5,000. I do not think it would actually be that much. So what you're going to be expected to pay is $2,600, which they're guessing is from a summer job, and then they're going to give you work study of $2,200, so you're going to have to work a little bit while you're in college, but overall it's pretty affordable for a low-income student. Now let's take a look at a net price calculator for CCCC. So theirs looks a little different. This asks fewer questions than the Duke one, so you can go through it more quickly. I'm really speeding through it. This is asking just for an estimate of my family's income, so I'm going to say less than $30,000. This looks a little different, but is giving me the same information as the Duke one. So the estimated tuition is around $2,500. Room and board is $0 because I'm living at home. Books and supplies, $1,700. That's just an estimate. That's not something you would actually pay directly to the college. It's just how much they think you would have to spend on books and a computer and other stuff. And then other expenses is like food, your car, anything like that. So that's what they're estimating. It's just going to be whatever you spend outside of paying for tuition. So they're saying the total cost of attendance is $9,737. The only amount that you're actually paying to the college is that $2,544. But now they're saying that you're going to get around $6,000 in financial aid. So that is your federal Pell Grant, most likely. That amount that you're getting based on having a low family income that's from the federal government is around $6,000 and will go with you to whatever college you attend. So that can actually cover all of your tuition and fees, but you may still have some other expenses, which they think is going to be around $4,000. I think that's a little high, but it depends on your spending habits. You can do this for any college, and I highly recommend doing this either before or after you fill out the FAFSA, because the way that you will actually find out your actual financial aid is FAFSA is going to process your FAFSA. They're going to send it to all the colleges, and then the colleges, after you're accepted, you probably aren't going to be accepted to any colleges for a couple of months. It might be even later. After you're accepted, they're going to process your financial aid and actually send you a financial aid award letter that tells you in reality how much financial aid you're getting and how much you're going to be expected to pay. But you may not get that until January, March, possibly even later than that. So in order to be fully informed about the cost of college, you need to use some of these net price calculator tools in order to figure out if you're going to be able to afford the colleges that you're applying to or not. I hope that's helpful. As always, you're welcome to contact me with questions if you're a Southern Lee student, and your counselor if you're a student at another high school. Thanks so much for watching, and congratulations on submitting your FAFSA and getting ready to attend college.